What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B-Hop Radio Shout and stepping in the building. I got an artist. I got a journalist. I got an executive. I got a podcaster. I got a man that does it all stepping off in the building, man. Rob Markman, what's good with it, boss?
Hey, man, what's good, man? I can't believe it looked just like it do on YouTube. When I'm at home watching it, I'm like, this is where the magic happen, man. I'm excited to be here, man. When you asked me to pull up, man,
Come on.
it mean a lot to me.
Well, you know what? I have been slick trying to get you down here for years. See, you might not recall this, but it was a birthday bash about 10 years ago. It might have been 5 to 10 years ago when I was working at the station, and I was walking up to the station. I saw you walking away, and I said, hey, man, I love your damn interviews. You said, appreciate it. I said, all right, I'll holler at you later.
Right.
But I said, I got to talk to this guy because as a journalist, okay, they're not really a lot of hip-hop journalists out here, okay? Right. People that are passionate about the craft and the art of journalism to the point to where they give good interviews and they create content and historical moments at the same time. I need you to take me to day one, though, Rob.
Right.
What was it that made you say, you know what, journalism is going to be my way to fulfilling my goals, dreams, and destinies?
Yeah, it kind of just happened for me. I mean, really, it was just about hip hop. Like, I was so passionate about the music coming up. You know, I did a little bit of everything. Like, probably wrote my first rap when I was 12 years old. By the time I was 15, I had 2 turntables, 8 crates of records. I'm trying to figure out this DJ thing.
Come on.
And this vinyl, you know, making mixtapes that just didn't sound right. My blends wasn't right. Like, my transitions wasn't good. You know, by the time I'm 17, 18, me and my friends chipped in $250 a piece, bought an MPC.
Okay.
And every week it would spend a week at somebody's house. So now I'm trying to make beats. It was just really, really trying to find my way in this hip hop thing. I was so passionate about it, so I tried a little bit of everything before something worked. And you know, the journalism thing just kind of found me. You know, I was a media major.
That's right.
Media studies major in college. I was always fascinated by media, but I didn't think that I could make a career out of this. I knew I couldn't quite fit. Or I couldn't see myself fitting like in the New York Times, like being more of a button-up journalist. And I loved hip hop, but I didn't think there was any longevity in it. But it started. I graduated college, and a friend of mine by the name of Tim Hotep gave me my first assignment to review a Jadakiss album for Complex Magazine in 2004.
My God.
So I'm actually coming up on the 20th year of me being a journalist. But the short answer is it started in print.
Okay.
You know, and you know, this was a friend of mine who was a friend. Plus, we went to school, so he knew I could write. He knew, you know, I get A's on all my papers. I was a bad math student.
Come on.
When it was English and journalism and stuff, I could write.
That's when the A's came in.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
So he knew I could write, and he wanted to give me a shot, I guess, and put me on. And he gave me a Jadakiss album review. And right there, I was like, oh, okay. So they sent me to Yonkers. They put me in a car, like a black car service, sent me to Yonkers. And Jadakiss himself played me the album. This was Jadakiss' second album, came out in 2004, and then the car took me back home. And for me, I was like, low key, I'd have done it for free.
Exactly.
I'm like, I get to hear the new Kiss album for anybody, and y'all gonna pay me?
Come on now.
Let's go. So once I got my first taste of that, and my foot was in the door, I'm like, all right, they're gonna have to take me out on a stretcher to get me out of here. So, you know, it's just building from there, but print journalism where it started.
With that being said, how you feel about the evolution of print journalism right now with the advent of AI? How much longer do we have? Is it going to revolutionize it or is it going to ruin it?
Nah, it's terrible. I think I'm not with it. First of all, I think print journalism is when I talk about print, I mean just magazines. So this is even before the internet kind of took over. Print has been in a bad place. I think it'll become niche. I think there's still an audience out there who wants well-written, well-reported, edited stories, fact checks.
Quality.
Yeah, just the quality of it. I think the majority of the audience can't really discern the difference between a real quality story and because right now we're just reading headlines. Most people get their news from the headline or from the social media post and aren't diving deeper, at least in how it goes in hip-hop.
Yeah.
I think AI is a dope technology. I think AI is here to stay. I think you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Facts.
But I think there's going to be a lot of misuse. And there's currently a lot of misuse before we figure out how we really should be using it.
I feel that. So now when it came to journalism early on for you, who were some of the main people that you were able to interview that you grew up listening to and you were like, okay, I made it right now. This is making me happy. I'm enjoying my career. And then also, how long did it take for you to be able to make a living off of it at the same time, too? Because that's a real journey as well.
Yeah. So I started in 2004, graduated college. All the way through college, I had a mailroom job, so I worked in the mailroom. Yeah. And then I added writing, and it was freelance. So $300 here, $400 there. You know, I was building a name for myself. It took me till about, from 2004, probably 2007, I got my first full-time job at the magazine. So 3 years of paying dues, I got my first full-time job at Scratch Magazine, which was the sister magazine to XXL. Okay. But I was still only making $35,000 a year with a kid and one on the way. So I don't know if we could call that, like, at that point in my career, like, making a living, but that's when it became apparent, okay, I could figure this out. It took a couple years going from Scratch to XXL to MTV to really be like, oh, okay, I could actually pay my bills and feed my family with this. So it took a little bit.
When you touched down at MTV, though, man, what was that transition going from print to television?
Well, see, when I went to MTV, it was for MTVnews.com, and I went to be their hip hop editor for online. So the transition for me was print to digital, and it was excellent. It came at the right time because print was dying. If you remember, you know, if you go back to magazines, XXL magazine, Source magazine used to be thick. Facts. You could tell about how much money a magazine is making, the health of a magazine, by the amount of ads. It might have been a little annoying, but you remember you had to go through 20 ads before you got to the first piece of content in the magazine. But that means that magazine was making money. Facts. So me being at XXL at the time, every month the magazine getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And, you know, Vibe had folded at that time and came back and folded, and the Source wasn't doing so well. So I'm like, damn, it ain't really much of a future in print. And when MTV came and it was shifting to digital, I'm like, oh, this came at the right time, so I'm with it. Exactly. And it was a dope transition. MTV hired me to write 4 news stories a day. That was my thing. They was like, yo, we need you to write 4 news stories a day. Yeah. I was averaging 7 a day, sometimes 8, because I had developed the muscle and the skill through print. I'm like, yo, I could just bang these out. Exactly. Some of it was original reporting. Some of it was re-reporting what was going on. Some of it was, you know, it was a lot of, you know, calling police stations, getting police reports, you know, when the drama happened or something. Getting real. Yeah. Like when I was at MTV, and I still have it in my phone, like when we talk about fact checking and stuff like that, I had the phone number to every PIO. It's called the PIO. It's the Police Information Officer in every city. So I had one in Miami. I had the one in New York. I had the one in LA. Yeah. So if something goes down, it's like, yo, like when I was at I wasn't reporting off of TMZ. Sometimes TMZ really breaks the story. Yeah. Now I'm calling the police station myself. I'm calling lawyers. Yo, what's going on? What's the thing? So do like real deal reporting. So yeah, I was over at MTV Digital, and then I met Sway Calloway. Come on now. Who told me, hey man, you're gonna get a shot to be on camera. He's like, I can't tell you when and I can't tell you how, but I see it. You gonna get a shot. Just be ready. And then the TV thing happened. That was almost by happenstance. That wasn't part of my plan, but shout out to Sway and Ramon Dukes. Like they seen it in me, and they kind of primed me and prepped me for being on camera.
Sway is another one of those goats when it comes to journalism in general, okay?
Yeah, the goatist.
Exactly, the goaty goat.
Number one.
You know, what was it like? A lot
of controversy about that right now.
What?
Listen. Well, come on.
Well, now, you better give it to Sway, okay?
Yeah.
You got to give it to Sway. That's why, you know what, see now, we got to switch. This is how I feel. I give Charlemagne, I'm going to give him the number 23. Right. But then Sway, I want to give him a Dr. J, but that's not enough for Sway. He's kind of like a
He might be the Bill Russell, man.
Yeah,
he
and
might
that's
be
why I was thinking of Bill Russell, but then I didn't want to go that far back with Bill. But you see what I'm saying? But you got to give him the Bill Russell. Okay. Rob, I mean, you coming in there now.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to
ain't
go.
No slouch.
We got to go Kobe. We got to go Kobe LeBron. We got to put you in that damn conversation because you've been there the whole time.
Me and Braun got the same birthday, so I'm comfortable.
LeBron.
Yeah, my Capricorn brother LeBron James. I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with LeBron James.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that because when it comes to this hip hop journalism, there are only a few people that have actually got down and dirty and delivered the news that we all needed. Okay. Now, when you linked up with Sway, what kind of game and information did you get from him doing, y'all early conversations?
It was a lot of, some of it was through conversation. One of the biggest jewels that he gave me early on was, he said, man, when that camera hits you, he said, man, that camera changes people. I seen people change as soon as them camera lights come on.
That's real.
He said, who you are is enough. Don't change for that camera.
Come on now.
Be yourself, and you're gonna go far. That was one of the biggest jewels. Other than that, it was a lot of just watching, seeing how he operated, and it was confirmation. I said, oh, because you hear about just in music and media that you got to be slimy, you got to be cutthroat, you got to be. And I watched Sway, and he didn't exhibit any of those qualities. I'm like, oh, this is a good, genuine guy who has a lot of light and shines a lot of light on people. Like I done seen Sway walking with him through Times Square. If you're in New York, the MTV office and the Sirius XM office where he does his radio show is about six blocks away from each other. So we would just walk it. He would walk it. After he done with MTV, he would walk to Sirius. I see him walk, he'll stop and shake every hand.
That's right.
Up and coming rappers, he'll take CDs. Yeah. I done seen him take rappers off the street, bring them into the studio. Yo, spit a verse. I see him treat the up and coming guy or woman with the same reverence and respect that he would treat a Nas.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I said, okay, this was the confirmation. So it's just be genuine, be passionate, and know that this light that we commandeer isn't just for ourselves.
When that television light hit your face, though, Rob, what did that do for you, man?
Oh, it froze me up, dog. Like, I remember I did my first on-camera interview at MTV was with Lil B.
Okay.
I remember this, and everybody congratulated me. Even MTV, oh my God, it was so great. You did amazing. It was amazing. Da 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 da. Shout out to Lil B. And Sway let me have that. And Sway was like, all right. 2 days passed. And he said, how you feel? You feel good? You getting a lot of love? I was like, yeah, man. He was like, yeah, that was good. Now let me tell you everything you did wrong.
Oh.
And it wasn't from a hateful, and for me, I'm like, all right,
class.
Like, go ahead now, let's go.
Yeah.
Because everybody was telling me, I think, what I wanted to hear. Sway was like, look, man, your posture was wrong. You were slouched in the seat.
Yeah.
If you're slouched and your posture is wrong and you're talking with a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying, and it doesn't inspire the person that you're talking with to give you back that same energy. You got to fix your posture. You got to do this. You got to do that. And he gave me the jewels and broke it down. So I was like, oh, there's a guy who's invested in making me better. Another interview that I did, it was hard at first being on camera and have everybody see you. We used to have this show called Rap Fix Live.
I remember that.
It was a live show. This one was a pre-tape though. I don't know what happened. This goes back to Sway saying, hey, you're going to get an opportunity. I don't know when, I don't know where. This day we had Our Future coming up. Earl Sweatshirt had just, you remember, early in Our Future's career, Earl Sweatshirt was sent away to a school, like a boarding school or something, and nobody knew where Earl was. And this is when Earl first came back and rejoined the group, and they were coming to MTV to sit with Sway, and Sway called me about a half hour before the show. I'm feeling a little sick. It's on you today.
My God.
I was like, what? So for whatever reason, Sway passed the baton to me. And Our Future is very disruptive.
Yeah.
And at that point early in the career, I had interviewed Tyler a couple of times. I felt like I was building a rapport. The camera was off.
Yeah.
It was fine. Hey, man, how you doing? It was all love. Man, that camera came on. Them boys chewed me the fuck up. Like, it was serious? It was just like, it wasn't like in a mean way, but the character came on. If you remember what Our Future was about, especially early on, it was very disruptive. It was very counterculture. It was very like, so I'm sitting here ready to do a serious interview. Like I'm like, this is big. Earl is back. Like, oh, we gonna get into everything.
Yeah.
And they weren't willing to take it so serious. Earl was there, Sid was there, Left Brain was there. Tyler, like the only one who wasn't there was Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
Domo Genesis was there, so it was like a big opportunity, but I prepared for it one way and it turned another way. So I learned a big lesson that day too.